Hey y'all, Nani here. Welcome to my channel. You can call me Nani. Please subscribe, leave a like and a comment, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of more videos that I put out. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the Breakfast Club movie review that I was doing yesterday. But I left on a really weird note, and I understand that. Hold on, first I want to find that book. God, what if I probably took the book inside? Anyway, I guarantee you I took the book inside. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, the book was a book about coping with trauma-induced dissociative identity disorder. And I kind of left on that note. And I'll talk about all of this in another video. But in between all these videos, or in between all this, I've put out a couple of videos where I'm speaking, one, I'm speaking like Scarlett O'Hara. There's one I just put out where I'm talking like I'm from New Jersey or Long Island. And that's just me having fun. I've always been like that. I've always been theatrical. I've always spoken in accents, the ones I can do sort of well. English, Southern Belle, Northeast kind of stuff. Maybe a little Minnesota. I'd have to work on that. But it's just all in good fun, again, because I love to be different people, but that's separate from the DID. For me, I present differently. I have different parts, not alters. My brain, due to abuse that I endured over many years, at a very young age, from 4 to 11, my brain fragmented, and my therapist calls it my superpower. She always put a positive spin on it, and it wasn't a spin. Like, it's true. Like, the what your brain is capable of doing at such a young age. I mean, at 4, to say, hey, this probably isn't, a great thing for her to be dealing with, so let's do something else or whatever. And I don't know all the science of it, and how it works, but that workbook is a great workbook to help you kind of get through to where you want to go. Now, some doctors like mine believed in creating a system for your parts or alters. I don't have any urge or need to do that. I just feel like I am me. And I've always just been me. I don't have any parts of me that are telling me, hey, my name is this and my name is that, or whatever. I'm just me. I'm just Heather. The only thing I would relate to would be, there is definitely a little, what we call littles, living inside of me, that little girl that is still hurt and afraid and all of that. But I think every single one of us, abuse sufferers or not, have a part of that. They're little living inside them. Nobody has not had any kind of trauma. And so I feel like we all have our little parts that we need to try to embrace, and love them, if any of that makes sense. But I don't want to get, too far into that. I just want to let you know that those, the videos with the accents and then the DID that I brought up, those are two totally separate things. One does not have anything to do with the other. And I will talk more on the DID at another point, but right now we're doing a movie review that I want to finish because it's taking forever. And I've been promising that I was going to finish it. So, also, I found this at the store a while ago, actually. It's called H Factor hydrogen infused water, but it's what I call like in a sucky bag. So you know how they have like that applesauce that they put in a sucky bag? Well, this is water. Sorry, sometimes it's hard for me to swallow. This is water that they put in a sucky bag, and it's got hydrogen in it. And I don't know why that's important. Molecular hydrogen gas. I don't know. It doesn't taste any better to me. It doesn't taste any worse. My mouth is just dry always. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to put in these Grethers pastilles. If you suffer from dry mouth, or if you're like a singer or you use your voice for your work. Like I used to work, I wouldn't call it a call center, but I was on the phone 8 hours a day, almost all day, every day. These are great. They're slick because they're gummy. They're like a gummy, but you just suck on them, and they have these elements in them. Glycerin especially, that's slick, and it's so nice to not taste menthol all day long. I'm so sick of it. I've been sucking on menthol cough drops probably 25 to 30 menthol cough drops a day. Anyway, so let's get to the rest of the movie review. And okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking for my chapstick. I thought it's always in my bra. I'm sorry. That's just a part of my reality, guys. Okay. So where we last left off, what I call the confessional scene, where they're all talking about what they did to get in there. And I think I remember talking on how Allison was saying, you know, we're all gonna become like our parents. It's unavoidable. And I was saying on the last one, I totally disagree with that. I don't think I'm anything like my mother. I have, you know, parts of her. I have her sense of humor a little bit. I have my dad's sense of humor a little bit. But that's pretty much it in terms of, I would never be like either one of my parents because, no, they made some decisions, that I wouldn't have made, but also I cut them some slack because it was a different time and they didn't have the knowledge that I had when it came time for me to make certain decisions. But I am no angel because I made a lot of stupid mistakes, a lot of stupid decisions. So, you know, I give my parents grace, and I hope that my kids will give me grace someday. So anyway, but I don't think it's inevitable that we end up like our parents, because there's some real shitheels out there that, you know, like abusers and stuff like that, where a lot of kids make it, they purposely, you know, are driven to not become like their father or their mother, who was an alcoholic or who beat them or whatever. They break the cycle. And, you know, those people that do that are amazing, and they're making this world a better place. So, but then during the confessional, I read in that trivia thing they have on Amazon, that whole scene where they're sitting in the library and Claire does the lipstick thing, and they're all talking about what they did to get into detention. that whole scene was ad-libbed. The whole thing. And for me, I feel like that's what made it, I think that's what made John Hughes movies work. And it's hard to compare them to whatever today's kind of movies were, or like my kids' generation of teenage angst movies, right? Because I don't know if they had a John Hughes. You know, I guess I'd have to ask my kids who were teenagers at one point. But I really don't think there was anyone like John Hughes. And I think the reason that that scene in particular was so poignant is because it was ad-libbed and it was raw. And the way Judd Nelson pushed her. In fact, I did read in another trivia piece that he deliberately would pick on her. He stayed in character the whole time, and he would pick on her and pick on her and pick on her. And actually, John Hughes wanted to get him off the film. But the guy that plays Vernon told him, like, you know, hey, lay off. This is a part of his process, you know, whatever. Though I don't necessarily agree with, you know, abusing your co-stars. I think if you're a good actor, you should be able to get into that role without harming other people. You know what I mean? But I do feel like that's why Molly's tears and her crying was so real. The cheek, you know, quivering. Her eyes were a little puffy right here. You could tell from crying. I'm sure they had to do the scene over and over again. Her lips got a little bit puffy when she cried. And then, of course, Brian's scene. I mean, the whole scene was amazing, and I think that's what made the movie. So, anyway. So, one thing, and I'm not sure if I covered this in my last review, in the last one. I guess I'll have to go back and check. I feel like I did. This seems familiar, but if I did, please accept my apologies. Again, I've got, you know, the memory issues, so I'm sorry. I will try to do better with making sure this isn't something I already spoke about. But the one thing, the one message that I didn't like that this movie gave was, you have to change yourself to get the boys' attention, right? Girls in my day, we always felt like we had to change to get the boys to see us. You know what I mean? Like, oh, now she's wearing makeup. Oh, now she's pretty. Now she's good enough to be loved by him. And I think that's a horrible message. And in one movie in particular that I'm going to review later, there's a scene in there that is, you know, back then I didn't think twice about it. And the fact that I didn't think twice about it, I don't think anybody did. But when you think about it now, it is so, in everything that's gone on in the world, it is so cringeworthy. And I bet you I could find other scenes like that in other movies. But it might just be the next movie I review, because it's important. It's a crazy scene. But anyway, that's really the only thing I didn't like about that movie, is that Molly Ringwald's character is kind of embracing the bad boy and accepting him as he is, right? By giving him her diamond ring, right? her diamond earring, and she's going to him and accepting him as he is. But Allie has to change, you know? I don't think that's too cool. Hold on. Why am I so hot? Okay. I did love the ending when they all, you know, leave together. The way John walked, the last scene, what Brian wrote was so great. And then like the last scene when Bender put the earring in his ear and he just walked off the football field, and kind of in a moment of like, yeah, you know, that was cool. That was a good scene. And I still love that movie. It's still a great movie. But, you know, there's some things that I wish, you know, different messages we could send. But there's a little bit of trivia that I didn't know about. So John Cusack was actually originally cast as Bender, and I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Like, the way he dressed in Say Anything, I could definitely see him as a John Bender because he dressed a lot like that. I think he might have too sweet of a face. I don't know if I've ever seen him be a bad boy in a movie. Doesn't mean he can't do it because he's an actor. I'm just saying I don't think I've ever seen him do that. Oh, I think there was one movie maybe where he was a bad guy. I can't remember the name of it though, but I love John Cusack. There's just something so likable about the guy. So freaking likable. So let's see. Okay. Another piece of trivia. Judd actually went undercover to a high school and convinced teenagers that he was a student. He bought beer for them with his fake ID. And I feel like I talked about this too. But like, dude, I mean, you know, clearly he wasn't worried about getting arrested. You know, I don't know. I would imagine the studio wouldn't be too happy about that because lawsuit if something happened, but whatever. The movie was ranked number 1 in 2006 in Entertainment Weekly of the 50 best high school movies. Out of 50 high school movies from 1985 to 2006, Breakfast Club was ranked number 1. And I think that I have to agree. It's not full of sex and all of that. I think it's the most real movie you're going to get. And the fact that it got so much love and still to this day gets so much love. And there's really not a lot to it, but just kids sitting around and talking. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it earned that. Allison's dandruff on her painting was Parmesan cheese. Let's see. All of the characters played by Anthony Hall in all of the John Hughes movies are actually based on John Hughes himself. So I imagine maybe he was a little nerdy. Okay, I thought maybe someone was looking at me. Maybe he was a little bit nerdy, but then also that makes me wonder, like, were his parents assholes like Brian's? Because that's real sad. You know what I mean? That's sad. So that's it. That is my review. I feel like I may have finished it already, though. I don't know. Maybe it just seems familiar because I wrote it down. But anyway, that's my review. My rating system will be 0 to 5 bulldogs, because I love bulldogs. Those are my favorite. So I'm going to give it, we're going by high school movies. That's the genre, high school movies. And just because of the sentimentality of it, I have to give it 5 out of 5 bulldogs, right? So that's it. My first movie got a 5 out of 5. So that's where I'm going to leave it with you guys. I think the next movie that I'm going to review, maybe it won't be the movie I was thinking about, because I think I need to do something different just to cleanse my palate, because it's like I don't want to do the same thing and get bored. You know what I mean? I made some notes in my notebook. Oh, but you know what? I was picking them out of a hat. So that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to pick them out of a hat. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've got a few, and I will let you know once I have the movie picked. So I'll pull that out tonight, and we'll see what happens. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing it. It's definitely helping to fill the time between looking for jobs and, cleaning and all the other fun crap we're having to do. So anyway, that's all for now. I hope y'all have a lovely evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.